tyres just have no grip in the wet. What would you get if you took a stock BMW M4 competition and just reworked the entire front end? Well, as you guessed by the title, you would get one of these. The BMW M4 CS. And in my mind, this is exactly what the original M4 should have been. Let me explain why. My name's Tom, and you are watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. Now, what exactly has BMW done to the front end of this thing to really make it that much better than the competition? Well, firstly, they made the bonnet lighter. It's now made of carbon fibre. Secondly, of course, the engine is slightly more powerful. All they've really done, though, is increase the boost pressure. However, now it's running at 2.1 bar. Insane. But the rest of the alterations they've done to this thing are all to do with the handling. And my lord, have they gone to work. Literally everything from here forwards has been completely recalibrated on the car. From your dampers, to your anti-roll bars, to even the steering. And my lord, they have made it so much better. You see, the problem with the stock M4 competition, if you can call it stock, is that whilst it was very capable on track, it kind of lacked a bit of feel from the front end. Whereas now, this M4 CS behind me handles like a proper track weapon. But there's only really one way I can convey that, and that is by driving the thing. But before we do that, let's do the obligatory performance test and do the 30 to 70 sprint.
.30 to 70 then, we did a absolutely staggering time of 2.89 seconds. Not only is that obviously faster than the BMW M4 competition, it is nearly as fast as a Mercedes E63S, a car with over 620 horsepower. That is absolutely insane, and just goes to show this thing definitely is running more than 550 horsepower. BMW, I think you're telling porkies with the numbers on this one.
Now then, interior, whilst it is mostly the same as the BMW M4 competition, there are some key differences that I'd like to point out. The main one is, of course, this. You get the carbon tunnel from the BMW M4 CSL, and it's just worse than having an armrest, to be honest. But, I mean, it looks cool, right? Anyway, we're not really here to look at the interior of a BMW M4 CS, we're here to drive the damn thing, aren't we? So let's get on some UK roads now and see how we do in this slightly wet weather. I think it might get a little bit sideways. Immediately, this car just feels 20% more special than a regular M4 competition, if you can call it regular. The steering just feels more expensive, and they have just recalibrated it, but it just feels so special. The suspension feels better calibrated, it deals with bumps better. Even going over speed bumps here, this car just feels like a proper M car. And I don't know why BMW didn't do it like this from factory. It's like they made the M4 to a deadline and then kind of went, actually, it could be quite a bit better than that. So they made the CSL and then they were kind of like, let's just go for a CS. This is what it should have been all along. This is a truly special car. We've still got X-Drive, you've still got pretty much all the comforts of a regular M4 bar the armrest. Even things like start-stop, which unfortunately is mandated by law, but you know, you can turn it off with the press of a button. But no, we won't go for that mode just yet. We're just going to see what it's like around town. I mean, the steering's nice and light in comfort mode. Everything is, yeah, pretty calm. The seats, I'm not a massive fan of, and that's purely because they're great for track use, but for some reason BMW decided to include what I can only call a testicle shelf. It is there to support your manhood and nothing more. It's not there for a central seatbelt on a harness. It's just there, yeah, just to annoy you and make you slightly uncomfortable in the nether regions. But obviously when you're driving faster, they are definitely needed. And the thing is, this car is so insanely capable that you do need to be held in place, otherwise you're going to be in the back seat by the time you put your foot down in this thing. It is unreal how fast this thing is, but also unreal how good it is at just going around corners. We are, of course, going to see how good it is later. We are on some very, very sporty tyres today, which are designed to be used above 50 degrees only. I don't think we're going to see those temperatures today in the tyres, so it's going to get a bit spicy, I think. But yeah, parking this thing, you've still got a reverse camera, all-round parking sensors. You've even still got park assist. I mean, who is buying an M4 CS that needs park assist? If you need park assist and you're buying something like this, please do not go on a public road. Anyway, once you're in a space, yeah, you can pretty much always get to the first notch because it's still kind of like a 4 Series at the end of the day. However, you do get those longer coupe doors, so you do have to be a little bit careful. But yeah, just driving this thing around town, you know, you've got a slightly fruitier engine note as standard. I'm sure a lot of that is pumped in, even in comfort mode. And it just kind of feels like a nice M car to drive. Now, where things do get a little bit fruity is when you press one of these two buttons. This one is a halfway house button. This one is a I might die button. We'll press that one later, but first, let's just come out of this junction in the halfway house button. And I can kind of demonstrate what I mean. Now, traction control is fully on, but apparently it's still a little bit more lenient. And they weren't kidding. Even with it fully on, it will still let you slide around a little bit. Now, obviously, it won't let you lose control, but yeah, you can still feel the car moving, which is actually really nice, because if you kind of want to have a bit of fun, but you're a bit tired and you not want to be like super aware, then this mode is absolutely brilliant. And for the rest of the review, I'm going to leave it in this mode. We're not going to test the MPG today because it's an M4 CS. It's completely and utterly pointless. However, if you are interested in the long-term MPG this thing has done since factory, it has done 22 miles per gallon. And the owner of this car has done that purely in this mode, or a sportier mode, and I think that's not bad, considering he's been hooning this thing around quite a lot. That's actually about the same as what I get in my BMW M1 40i when I'm really pressing on, so yeah, all in all, very good. Now then, the other thing that I really don't like about this car, and it's not the M4 CS in particular, it's just the new 4 Series, this iDrive. Yes, you can get used to it. Yes, it can do a lot. It looks very nice, and I like this graphic that shows you wheels turning and spinning. However, it is just a bit longer to use. It takes that extra 5 seconds to get to a function, and yes, you can use voice controls and all that jazz, but for me, I just really want a button to just go, done. I don't have to go, hey BMW, I don't have to hold this button down or press this button or press a button to then use the voice controls. I just want a function to be there and press it. But yeah, enough of a rant about the infotainment. Let's get back to the driving of this thing and go into the slightly spicier mode. Now you have to press this button twice, because what it does is put the traction control in MDM, and that is M dynamic mode. Now what that does is just kind of put you in a halfway house setting. The car is still there to help you out. It's not going to chuck you off the road, but it will let you get fairly sideways at least. And yeah, I think I shall demonstrate that now. Okay then, so M2, this is MDM. We've got the gearbox in its sportiest, most aggressive setting. If you don't know, this is a ZF 8-speed transmission, and in the M4 series, the M4 lineup, you can basically change how aggressive you want the shifts to be, and we are now in the most aggressive setting. So the downshifts are fast, and the upshifts are what I would call enthusiastic. Fast, but also quite aggressive. And this thing is, I mean, it's just an absolute monster. Now, there are quite a few cars on the road today, so I'm not going to go too crazy around this roundabout. But, I mean, we can still have a little bit of fun, right? I mean, these tyres just have no grip in the wet. They're not Cup 2s. I can't remember what manufacturer they're from. I'll put them in the top right hand corner now actually and have a look afterwards, but they are designed to be used on a dry sunny day on Barcelona de Catalunya circuit and nothing else. It is yeah, it's an interesting day to be driving with track tyres on some wet crappy British roads. Anyway, before I get too carried away, let's get this thing on the motorway and see if it differs too much from the regular M4 competition. You know, is this a little bit too uncomfortable on the motorway? Well, I think you might be pleasantly surprised. Now then, this is where the recalibration of everything has kind of just made this car a bit of a monster. So I'm just going to put my foot down now. And yeah, you get up to 70 quick enough, I think. The gearbox just responds immediately, there's zero lag in the engine. It responds like an electric car, and a lot of people that have driven these, and a lot of people that have driven these and launched them, have said that it launches faster than an electric car does. Like, okay, half throttle, change down to fifth, there's no lag, it just goes. It's like the throttle is connected to your brain. And the thing is, that actually makes it more relaxing to drive because it's more predictable. It's easier than an M4 competition to drive. It's even more predictable than the stock car. And even on a day like today, when we've got tyres that are just not fit for this situation whatsoever, it's still so easy to drive. I know exactly where the limit is. And in terms of just daily driving on the motorway, wind noise is still pretty low. Obviously road noise is up from a regular 4 Series, but that's because the chassis is just more connected everywhere. Right, I think it's time to get on some proper roads, don't you think? Let's go to one now. Right then, let's go back into M2 mode. I love these buttons on the steering wheel. I mean, I know BMW's been doing them for ages, but it's worth mentioning at least. Just makes getting in the right setting so fast. Right, foot down. All-wheel drive grip is needed today. Good lord. I mean, you can't even rev this thing out. It's so ridiculous. Now, the one thing that's interesting about the S58 engine that's in this is that torque takes quite a while to come in. So if you're at 2,000 revs and you put your foot down, you're waiting a while for boost, and you don't really feel it until about 3,000 revs. But that's kind of been done on purpose because the previous M4 with the S55 was quite spiky and it kind of scared people a bit. This feels very linear. It feels like almost like a large engine in the way it performs actually. Front end turning though in the wet though. Unreal. Just unreal. I mean, this thing in the dry on a track, I mean, this is a serious car. And unlike the competition, you really kind of do need your wits about you. Easy to drive in regular mode with everything off, but even in MDM, yeah, you do need to keep your eyes open. Right, let's have a little flavour of the sound. Slightly different exhaust to a competition. And it's a little bit fruitier. It's got a titanium rear silencer. But, I mean, can't really tell to be honest. What you can tell though is just the steering. The steering is transformed. Honestly, feels like a different car. This is like M4 Plus, is the way I describe this. The M4, but just better in every aspect. The brakes as well, I'm pretty sure they've recalibrated them because they came out with this like adaptive brake feel in the newer M4s, and I wasn't really a fan of it initially. In this though, they've calibrated it so it feels so linear. Touch the pedal, you get a good amount of braking. but it gives you much more confidence that it's going to be doing exactly what you expect it to do. And do you know what? What makes a car feel really special to me, or what signifies that it is special, is the fact that A, I want to do this all day, and B, I can do it all day. It's getting my heart pumping, it's getting my brain engaged, I'm feeling things through my backside and my fingers. It's exactly what an M car should be. BMW, I love you, honestly. This car is unreal. It's unreal. It's so good, I want to cry. I mean, look, so 100-yard marker, slam on the brakes, and even with crappy tyres, even in the ABS, it's predictable. It's so rare that you get that. And it just makes me want to go round the roundabout again, but I'm not going to because I'm using a lot of petrol. It's just so much fun, though. So much fun. Right, we are going to give a 0 to 60 a go because we've got to. I don't think it's going to do lower than 5 seconds today, though, because it is extremely wet and we are on extremely the wrong tyres. But in the name of science, it shall be done.
Naught to 60 then. The first run we did with launch control was, yeah, it was not good. We did 5.19 seconds, which, yeah, I know it's wet and I know we're on Pirelli P0 Corsa tyres, but that is not a good figure. Thankfully, though, with everything off and without launch control, I managed to get a time of 3.62 seconds, which is the fastest time on our leaderboard. And frankly, absolutely bonkers considering it was a very wet day today. In the dry, though, this car has done sub 3 seconds 0 to 60. That is absolutely bonkers. Oh, and by the way, ignore the slope figure on this graph. It is just draggy being draggy. Okay, so I'm going to try a couple of different modes coming down this road and see which one's best. So we're in full attack at the minute. Still in MDM, we don't want traction all the way off. And I've got the chassis in the stiffest setting. I'm just going to see if it's a little bit too stiff already. Yes, it feels extremely stiff. But remember, this is a CS, that's what you want. Oh my lord, it still puts the power down amazingly well though. This X-Drive system is just magic. Yeah, this feels like a proper M4 now. Filthy, absolutely filthy. The way it drives, and yeah, also probably filthy from the weather today. Okay, even in this wet weather, can we hit 60 before the corner? Let's find out. Bit of Scrabble. This is not full throttle, by the way. And yes, thankfully we can still hit 60. This thing's all over the place. Do you know what though? I still feel totally secure in myself. Which, if this was the original M4, no, that car used to scare me because it used to snap on you, but it would do it unpredictably. In fact, here's a little clip of the original M4 doing exactly that to me now. Yeah, see what I mean? It happens quite quickly, and it happens when you're least expecting it. Whereas this, I know exactly what it's going to do 10 times out of 10. Right, chassis in sports now. Let's see if it differs. Yeah, already the smaller undulations are just kind of getting passed over. This is the mode you want to be in. This is perfect for UK roads. Still feels like an M car. Yep, still feels like an M car. But just, it's
kind of riding the road and enabling my hands to read it a little better. Oh my lord, I love this car. I love this car a lot. Wow. I mean, wow. Not being funny, guys, it doesn't get much better than this. I've driven some crazy stuff in my time, and as stock cars go, it's hard to beat, really hard to beat. You know, from here, to go up from here for a daily drivable car that's also really fun and looks special, feels special, you're looking at 911s, to be honest. You're looking at Porsche. I mean, wow. Handling wise, driving wise, this is better than anything Audi offers at the minute. And I'm a bit of an Audi fanboy, you know, R8 GT I love, but predictable, just unwavering levels of power, fun, easy enough that it's approachable, will still try and kill you, gets your heart racing, gets your mind thinking. That's what you want from an M car BMW. It doesn't want to be too easy. And that's exactly what they've done with this. They've just nailed it. And the feel, it's got feel. You can feel texture coming through the road, through the steering wheel. You feel the vibration of the engine in your bum. And it just, all that adds together into making it an exceptionally good driver's car. So, I mean, my verdict is going to be fairly obvious. If you've got the money, get this over the M4 competition. Even if you're buying on finance, whatever, this is a truly special car. And do you know what? I reckon these are going to hold their value really well. So even though you're putting more money up front, I think you might actually lose less on one of these than you would an M4 competition. And on that note, I am going to go and change my underwear. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please give it a like, and why not subscribe, because we've got some more, even better content coming. Anyway, my name has been Tom, and you have been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.